And once again, we are back here at the Experience Live, and we are now talking with one of the players, we'll call you, Mike Delzano from BMP Media,
BMP Media.
R&R,
I'm the publisher of R&R.
and these guys are running the show.
Yeah, if you can believe that. And I used to, I always try. I wanted to avoid being called a player when I was younger. And I don't
Okay.
know, somehow I lured my wife into marrying
Trust
me.
me, you're
anyway.
not younger
I'm
anymore.
not.
Neither am I.
No,
It's
we
okay.
had the discussion way too much, you and me.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
We are, yeah. I mean, we purchased, our company purchased the Experience last year, and we'll probably, Larry. This is Larry Cooper's last show, as has been well documented. So starting on Saturday, we're gonna take over. We're really excited about this. What a great event this has been for so long, and we're just honored to be in it. Really.
I've gone to many of the Experience shows with Larry doing it, and it's always been such a warm, friendly feeling. And last show was your first one under new management, and I noticed a big change even with this one, feeling more like the old Experience show, which is nice.
That's great to hear. Thank you. We one of the things we wanted to do. I mean, this is such a traditional event. Both of the events are so traditional and they're so ingrained in our industry. The last thing we want to do is come up and say, you know what, we're changing the name. We're changing. We're not. No. We want to make it. It's hands-on is the key. Family friendly, fun, things like that. And we definitely aren't going to end that anytime soon.
Well, I think one of the big transitions, and we talked about this over the last show, you guys run a lot of other shows also, but this one's kind of special, and I think it's outside the normal mold. And I think you guys got it, I think you listened.
Yeah, BNP Media runs 65 events, and we have about 40 or 50 other regular media brands like R&R. So they do this a lot. They do this for a long time. And you're exactly right. This is not a cookie cutter event. And
No.
we learned that quickly. Yeah, it's just dense. There's a lot of fun things. I learned something today. I'm supposed to be having some kind of a boss type role starting Saturday. I'm like, oh, you know what? I better look into that.
Wait a minute, I'm in charge. Where did that come from?
Let this happen. But that's okay. That's okay. I think we're in a position now to kind of. I was talking to Larry the other day. We just want to, and as you know, we gave him the award last night, but for good reason. He's been a leader of our industry for a long time. And I think that what we want to do is just expand on it if we can. Take what's been great and maybe see how we could tweak it to make it a little better.
Well, I noticed, obviously this is your bigger show. You do 2 experiences a year, and this is the bigger of the 2, but it's been crowded.
It's a good show. It came out, and it's funny. These events are all like this. The attendance is down, losing sleep. And then suddenly the last month, it all comes together. It always seems to work out like that, but it's still, I don't know. It's my Italian and Polish upbringing makes me scared of that a little bit.
Well, it's funny because we did our training track today, and I actually was a speaker on one of them. But when I wasn't, I was going around scanning the ID badges of people. And I started to hit a bunch of badges that wouldn't scan. And I noticed that they were all people from the UAV conference, all wanting to be in and watching our presentations.
There is a drone conference going on right now down the street. And actually, some people have actually legitimately registered for both of us, not trying to sneak in like our drone friends today.
They wouldn't scan, so I knew they were bad. But, they were sitting there watching the shows going, okay, whatever.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, so it was really interesting to see all these other people from a completely different industry sitting in on lectures on mold and indoor air quality. And, it's pretty good.
It is pretty good. And we have great content here. We have great relevant content. You talk about, I know you're on the IAQ station on Normie TV. There's a few other brands I work for BNP Media. The IAQ is so important. It's crossing over so many brands. I listened to some of our keynote speakers today. Legitimately, we all wanted to clean and watch the air quality during the pandemic. And suddenly when the pandemic ended, I guess everybody thought, well, problem solved, we're good. But you and I both know that's just simply not true.
Well, the strange thing, and I'll say funny, but the strange thing about when COVID hit, the population that we've been trying to talk to for years realized that breathing is a thing. It seems to be something important now. We need to pay attention to that. And there was such awareness brought to it that now people are starting to listen when you talk about other things that are out there affecting their health.
Mhm.
You know, when you go to the doctor and they treat your symptom and then send you back to the same place that made you sick, they say, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. And they're coming back to the indoor air quality.
Yeah.
You know, I have a good friend that owns a very large air conditioning company,
Mhm.
and they deal with major hospitals and school systems and everything. And he says, oh, we stay in our niche. I said, well, your niche is growing because of what's happening with buildings. He goes, what do you mean? I said, when's the last time you went into a commercial building that had windows that opened? They can't do away with the services you provide.
You're right.
You
That's
know,
a great point.
they don't open, whether it's for security purposes or for keeping temperature control. They don't have windows that open. So your air conditioning company becomes the way that buildings breathe all year long. And he goes, you're right. You know, we've never looked at it that way.
I just watched Dr. Skinner's presentation yesterday, and
Dr. Gavin,
Dr. Gavin, he did a great job, as he always does. And he said some things like that. You know, we all were making jokes about touching dirty knobs and handles and stuff, because that's not, I didn't do anything. What happened was the fact that everything was flying through the air.
Yeah.
That was the problem. And it always is, whether there's COVID or not, that's always going to be the problem. And I think people are starting to really turn the corner and realize that that's what we got to look at. And I thank you and Normie for shining a light on that as well. So well.
well, we talk about it, and during some of the trainings that I do, you know, I talk about how come indoor air quality now has become an issue. And
Mhm.
COVID was a main driving force for that. But when you put it in terms that people understand, where I tell them that you can go 20 to 40 days without eating, or a healthy adult can do that. You know, you can go 3 to 7 days without drinking water. You got 4 to 6 minutes without breathing. That's it.
That's it.
You know, so I think in the importance level, it's up there, because you can't say, I'll breathe tomorrow. You know, you can't stop it. And the average person breathes 20,000 times a day. So wait a minute, you mean that's what I do? Well, yes, that's what you do. How can you not pay attention to it?
No, it's exactly right. It's more and more important. And you know what? I read somewhere too that and I guess this is a duh thing to say, but you never think about it. When you're asleep, you breathe.
Yeah,
When you're walking, you breathe. The only time we think about breathing is when we're thinking about breathing. Other than that, we naturally do it.
or if there's something wrong with the conditions we're breathing. The
Yes.
the wildfires in Canada again highlighted the problem. The eastern part of the United States. Now I know this part, the western part of the United States, deals with the fires from California all the time.
Right.
I'm on the East Coast. We don't have these issues. If it's a localized fire, something small, it goes away in a day. We were infiltrated, I guess the only way to do it, with smoke from Canada
Mhm.
for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, you looked up at the sun and it was in the middle of the day, dark out. And we never experienced that. But the air quality got so bad, people couldn't go outside. And what stuck out in everybody's mind was the indoor air quality in most homes is 10 times more polluted than the outdoor air. So people that are sensitized go outside to feel better. They couldn't.
Mhm.
So now they were looking at air that wasn't crystal clear. It was foggy, smoky, and it became an attention getter. It's like hitting somebody a cloudy glass of water. Drink that. I'm not drinking that. Well, you can't say I'm not breathing that.
Yeah. What do you mean? It's the same water. Why won't you drink that? Right.
Well, it's cloudy now,
Right.
you know, so it hasn't been filtered as well or whatever. But it was an attention wake up moment for people.
Yeah. I used to work for a magazine called Snips, which deals in the HVAC, the duct sheet metal, the duct wing of it. So that's big IAQ wing. And then we learned a lot about that. And it's just a fascinating how important that is. One of the things we go through life just taking for granted, but it's essential. And just continuing to work on it is what we're doing. And we're going to start. We do a lot at this event, the experience, frankly. There's a lot of discussions about that, a lot of discussions about cleaning, obviously restoration where we live. And again, and you hear a lot of happy people over there. There's a party has begun.
Yeah, well, they put the bar right next to our booth, which was okay.
Yeah. I have a funny feeling you picked this booth specifically for that.
Well, we were here first, and then they brought the
Okay.
bar over. I think Andrea was involved with that.
Andrea?
Yeah,
Yes.
yes, she was involved.
Our lovely event manager, Andrea Hansen. She'll
Yes,
help out
and
with
I
that.
thanked her for that.
Yes.
I really did.
Very good.
So going forward,
Yes.
what do you see happening with the experience?
Well, we're going to be in Chattanooga The first week in April, and this specifically, that's what's right in front of us now. Right after the show, we'll start gearing up for that. We're going to be doing a plant tour at Shaw Flooring. That's the reason we're in Chattanooga actually for this.
Great.
We're back here at the Caesars Forum next September, right after Labor Day, as the traditional date.
Okay.
And as far as the ins and outs of the experience, what I'm doing is I'm going around from booth to booth and calling the sponsors and saying, look, we all love the experience. This is the time to discuss what you'd like to see. You know, what I don't like this. I like this. Now, again, not wholesale changes at all. Just if you want to tweak something, if you'd like to see something, I can't think of a better time than now to have that discussion. And I'm ready to have that discussion. It's exciting.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the strangers, we were discussing this the other night. We're sitting out at the lounge in the center of the Lynx Hotel where we're staying. And we're talking about the difference of going to an event in Las Vegas. And one of the big things that came up was, besides the gambling and all the other, glitzy stuff, you can actually walk 5 minutes in any direction and come across an oxygen bar where you can sit and just breathe oxygen in for a few minutes to sober up, to feel better, to wake up. Or better yet, they now have IV stations with nurses where you can go for an IV if you're dehydrated.
Well, you want, I mean, that's great, by the way. Number one,
that's for me, but,
right. I think a negative. Usually, I try to be positive, but with Las Vegas, I get a little negative sometimes. But you walk through the casinos and you breathe smoke for 10 minutes, getting out. Yeah, I could go for some oxygen after that. It's probably a good idea.
Well, I don't think it's the reason they do it, but how you doing? How you doing? Sorry, we got people just stopping by saying hello.
Your fans.
Yeah.
I like it.
So, you know what? It's just a whole different experience out here. It really is.
Yeah.
If you could shorten the 6-hour plane ride, that would make it better. Coming from the East Coast.
You get a direct flight?
Yeah.
That's great. I couldn't even get that from Ohio. I had to stop in Denver and get that nice bumpiness over the Rockies, which is always so fun.
Depends on the time of the day and the thermals rising and stuff. But yeah, we spoke with some of the pilots about that, and they were very friendly and wanted to talk about it.
Very good.
It's gonna get a little rough now. Okay.
I think that this is where I think I can't ever predict this. I can't see us ever leaving Las Vegas in the fall.
No, it's part of the culture. Plus you're getting your West Coast attendance.
Yeah.
I know Larry did a show in the middle of the country around a year ago.
Mhm.
I forgot where it was.
Cincinnati,
That's right. And he was telling us some statistics that it's within 6 hours driving of, I think, 60% of the US population. That's massive.
If you look at a population map, it's just amazing how many people still live east of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
As compared to the West. I mean, it's been 150 years since the gold rush or more, right? But still not a lot of people out here compared to the East Coast.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know what? The gold rush is something that I talk about with a lot of our members. And I warned them about with advertising and stuff like that. And they go, what do you mean the gold rush in advertising? I said, well, during the gold rush, everybody went out west to do digging and everything else to find their fortune. The only people that made money were the people that sold the picks and shovels.
As we talked about that. You called me a typical salesperson. I think last time I answered this jokingly. I hope.
Yes.
I said, well, they had a need and they provided the need. It doesn't matter. There was no gold.
It oozed out. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. So I noticed, I think that was your wife that was here a few minutes
Yeah,
ago.
she was, she looked at and rolled her eyes that he won't stop talking and walked away.
Too much fun and just walked away. So yeah, I get that. Well, I appreciate you spending the time. I know you have a lot to do here with all these vendors and everything, and greatly appreciate it. And you know what? You seem to be listening to the people that are here, because I do notice a big change in the show from the last one.
Well, that's exactly what we're trying to do. People love coming to this event. There's a loyal audience here, and we're gonna see what they want and continue on from there. So I'm just happy. We're so thrilled to be a part of this. Thrilled to be partners with Normie and such great sponsors of this event. And let's hope that continues forever.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir.
And all the changes and everything else, and putting the bar next to us. It was all good.
We could have that as part of your sponsorship next year if you want.
I'm going to hold you to that.
In your booth.
We got witnesses. They're all online. So thank you very much.
Thank you.